The new year is well underway, and I've got some new horror books, courtesy of the fine folks at Nightworms. It is indeed time for me to open up my monthly Nightworms package for January of 2024. For those of you wondering why I've been silent on the subject for a few of the last several months, I had a lapse in membership, and I will admit their system does not make it the easiest to get resubscribed. You have to really sort of set your whole life around their schedule to be able to get in at just the right moment to get resubscribed. But I have now done so. I've got my January package. I am resubscribed, so I should be getting my monthly packages from here on out. Anyway, in case you don't know, Nightworms is a monthly horror book subscription service. Every month, except for the couple that I missed, we get one of these wonderful little care packages in these black padded envelopes. They contain 2 books. I think once there was actually 3 books, but usually it's 2 books. Sometimes there are signed copies. There are also some other little goodies. And although there is a way to get spoilers and figure out what's coming ahead of time, I never do, so I have no idea what's in this package. I'm going to discover it at the same time as y'all do when I open it up here on camera and discuss whatever I find inside. While I do that, let me just remind you to do all those YouTube-y things that help me grow my audience. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you see all of my videos. If you already have, you can still help me out by sharing with a friend. You can click that like button, you can leave me a comment. All those kinds of things help tell the YouTube algorithm that at least somebody is watching my nonsense, and that's good all the way around. Anyway, I've got the package opened. I see some books inside. Without further ado, let's dig right in and see what we've got from Nightworms this January of 2024. The first book to come out is a hardcover, fairly large one, and that is a book called Where the Dead Wait, and that is by Ali Wilkes. This is a book and author, both of which I am unfamiliar with. It's got a lot of praise, a lot of blurbs on the back from authors I am familiar with, but I don't know this particular author. I don't know this particular book. Let me read the description and see what we're in for. I do like the cover, though. It's this nice wintry scene. It's about -10 degrees where I am as I'm filming this. It may be warming up by the time this makes it out for y'all to see, but we are in the middle of a bit of a cold front in the United States, so a wintry sort of book seems appropriate to this winter season. Anyway, let's read the description. It says, "In the 1800s, there are many ways to be lost in the Arctic." Not just wintry, but Arctic, in fact. Carrying on, it says, "There are fewer ways to be found. But a disgraced sea captain must search for a missing shipmate and his own redemption amidst icy threats from within and without in Bram Stoker Award-nominated author Ali Wilkes' chilling polar gothic novel. William Day should be an acclaimed Arctic explorer, but after a failed expedition in which his remaining men survived only by eating their dead comrades, he returned under a black cloud. 13 years later, his second-in-command, Jesse Stevens, has gone missing in the same frozen waters. Perhaps this is Day's chance to restore his tarnished reputation by bringing Stevens, the man who's haunted his whole life, back home. But when the rescue mission becomes an uncanny journey into his past, Day must face up to the things he's done. Abandonment, betrayal, cannibalism. Aboard ship, Day's command is tested by unwanted passengers. Stephen's wife, a spirit medium whose seances both fascinate and frighten, and a reporter obsessively digging up the truth about the first expedition. Following a trail of cryptic messages, gaunt bodies, and old bones, their search becomes more and more unnerving, as it is clear that the restless dead are never far behind. Something is coming through. So that sounds quite interesting. I love a book that takes place in an Arctic or Antarctic setting. I've mentioned the same kinds of ideas about nautical horror many times on this channel. The sense of isolation and the harsh environment lend themselves well to a horror story. And it sounds like we're getting a lot of the same things here. Partially, it sounds like it is a nautical horror novel because they're aboard a ship, they're on this mission. But to the extent that it gets off the ship and into the Arctic setting itself, I don't know how much it does, but to the extent that it does, the same things that I like about nautical horror still apply. We still have characters isolated in an unforgiving environment, and that's the perfect setting for a horror novel. It sounds like we also have some ghosts, and I always like a good ghost story. I honestly really like pretty much everything that I have heard based on the description of this one, so I'm very much looking forward to digging in and reading this one as soon as I can. The next book out of the package is a paperback, and it's called The Wood Witch by Stephen Gregory. This is another one that I'm not familiar with. I like the cover of this one as well. We have a woodland scene, and I admit I do not find the woods as personally frightening as the sea, perhaps because I'm more familiar with the woods than I am the sea, perhaps just because humanity has largely explored woodlands and we have not explored much of the deep sea, at least. But despite not personally finding it as frightening, I do think nice creepy woods are still one of the best settings for a horror novel. Let's go ahead and read the description and see what we're in for with this one. It says, "Something was dead in the forest. Andrew Pinkney is a young English solicitor's clerk with boyish good looks and a gentle manner. But he also has a dark side. When his girlfriend Jennifer laughs at his impotence, he lashes out in a violent rage, knocking her unconscious. At the suggestion of his employer, Andrew heads to an isolated cottage in the gloomy Welsh countryside to take a break and get a grip on himself. In the woods, he discovers the grotesque stinkhorn mushroom, whose phallic shape seems to rise in obscene mockery of his own shortcomings. But the stinkhorn gives him an idea, a way to win Jennifer back. As the seeds of obsession take root in Andrew's mind, he embarks on a nightmarish quest, with unexpected and horrifying results." So it sounds like it's another sort of gothic novel in a very different setting and with a very different kind of character from the sound of things. This is the sort of premise. I refer specifically to the character's backstory and the story to do with these mushrooms that I think could be used to great effect and could be quite frightening, or could be ham-fisted and just cheesy. It sounds like, and I base this partially on the description itself and partially on some of the blurbs from well-respected authors and reviewers, it sounds like this is handled with enough of a delicate touch to not be just cheesy and hopefully to actually be a sort of a frightening gothic horror novel set in these strange woods. I hope that that is the case, and I look forward to trying this one as well. But if you've been around for a while, you know we're not done yet. Those are the only two books, but there is also always this little goodie packet, which is the last thing to come out of the envelope. And there's usually some good stuff in here as well. Let me open this up and we'll see what ancillary goodies the Nightworms folks have sent this month. The first, as always, is a bookmark. This one is called Lost Souls. That identifies the theme of this month's package. So the January 2024 package is called Lost Souls. And we have a bookmark with the Nightworms logo and a sort of hooded figure in a woodland scene on this side, and it says Lost Souls on this side. So I will use that when I read some of these books. The next item, there's always this little pamphlet that tells us all of the things that are meant to be in each package. I always double check against this just in case one of them got left out or something, but it's always accurate. Everything's always in there. The next item, I see an autographed book plate, and I am guessing that this is Ali Wilkes. This looks like an AW, so I believe that this book plate goes to this Where the Dead Wait, so I'll tuck that in there and I'll get it properly affixed later. And I've always said, a book plate is not quite as nice as a personally signed book, but I always like getting the signed book plates in these Nightworms packages, and it would be prohibitively expensive to ship books back and forth between Nightworms and the author and then the customers. So it just makes sense to ship the book plates back and forth and then mail them with the books, and I can turn them into signed copies with the book plates. So always a nice inclusion. The next item is a sticker. There's always some stickers in here for people who like them. This one, again, is a hooded figure. This one is reading a book, and it says Lost Souls Book Club. I suppose that's sort of what we do on this channel, isn't it? It's not just books. We talk about other things, movies, and some true stories, and weird things, and horrifying things, but we are something of a Lost Souls book club ourselves, so that's a nice little thing. The next item to come out is Thick. This is a beverage of some sort. It's from Crooked Crows. Several of the beverages recently have been from the Crooked Crows company. This one is called Winter Brew, and if I put it so I can see this very fine print, it says it's an organic blend of caffeine-free tea, cinnamon, cardamom, cloves, ginger root, and stevia. So, not the biggest fan of the caffeine-free part. That seems like kind of the most important part to me, but I do always enjoy a nice hot beverage when I'm reading a book, particularly in a nice cold week such as the one I'm enjoying at the moment. So, nice little thing to get. I believe there's some more. There is indeed something else. There is, yes, one more item, and it is a fridge magnet. This one says Mug of Souls. We have a coffee mug, or perhaps a tea. Looks like a coffee mug to me, with some lost souls in there and a skull above it. So I'll stick this on the side of my filing cabinet. So some nice little things, stickers and magnets and things. But of course, these books are the most important part of the package. We have Where the Dead Wait by Ali Wilkes, and the signed bookplate to go along with that. And of course we have The Wood Witch by Stephen Gregory. I look forward to trying both of those books. So that's about all I have for today. Do be sure to stick around this channel for some wonderful stuff in the near future. I'm headed off to do some reading, either of these or of something else. I certainly hope y'all have something good and spooky to read on these cold, wintry nights. But most importantly, I hope that y'all take care and stay scared.